Good morning. It's Friday, September 4th today. We made it almost through the first full week of school. So congratulations for that, for you guys in Digital Academy. That's particularly impressive since it's a whole new format for you guys, most of you. Okay, so I want to give you a quick rundown for today. First off, if you haven't done today's attendance question, okay, the attendance question is posted at the very beginning of every single class period that we're scheduled to have in here. From 11:55, which is the beginning of the period, to 12:15. Okay, I added 5 minutes to it. So you have 20 minutes to get in there and do the attendance question. If you don't do it in those 20 minutes, it shuts down, you're marked absent. Okay, so it's very important that you get in there during that time period and get that done. Don't show up at 12:14 because if it takes you longer than a minute to answer the question, it may kick you out. So if you haven't done that yet today and it's before 12:15, pause this video, go over to Canvas, answer the question, come back, start watching again. Next, recap on Zoom meetings. On the front page of Canvas, in that middle tile, I've linked a document. I put a link to a document that gives you your time frame for, or your time block for open Zoom meetings. Open Zoom meetings again. I think what I'm going to do is open it a few minutes early today. So if you got a quick question, you can pop in there. But if you need to spend any real time with me, just in order to space things out so we don't have too many people in there at one time, I've assigned you to a time block. If you click on that link that says Open Zoom Groups, you can find exactly where your time block is. If in the event that I need to hold a mandatory Zoom for the whole class, I will send out an announcement at least a day in advance. Okay, so just keep an eye on the announcements every single day, probably several times a day. You should be looking at your to-do list over on the right-hand side of Canvas, and that'll keep you up to date with what's going on. As far as contacting me, I've been getting some messages through that Google Voice number that's on that front opening screen of Canvas for this course. That's the best way to contact me, and through text. Okay, so if you call me on that number, your name's not going to pop up on my phone because I don't have it in my phone, and I'm not going to know who it is, and I'm not going to answer. Okay, but if you text me, I'll get back to you pretty quickly. Some have been trying to contact me through messages on Canvas. Messages on Canvas on my end, they don't show up really clearly and loudly, so I don't notice them. So every time I do notice them, I click into my message box, my inbox, and I have maybe 4 or 5 messages over the last 2 or 3 days, and that's not very timely. I'd like to get back to you with an answer to your question more quickly, and so I think Google Voice is the way to go. So that phone number on the opening screen, the front page of Canvas for this course. All right, so on to today's assignment. Let me just say, if you haven't yet turned in the assignments up to this point, make sure you get those turned in, even if they're past due, okay? The assignment from a couple of days ago, the reading assignment that had the questions, the study guide questions with them. I assigned in class roughly half of that reading and half of the questions for a couple of days ago. Now today I'm going to assign the rest of the reading and the rest of the questions. So for you guys at home, if you've already done all of those, fantastic. You can turn the questions in at any time. If you haven't finished them, make sure you get them done by the next class period, okay? Or at least by the due date that I put on the assignment, okay? It's very important that you get those done no later than when you come in for the next class period, because I'll likely post a video of me talking about some of that stuff. All right, so for today, I'm posting a packet of several pages. First 2 pages are maps, okay? Very simple and easy to understand if you just kind of start turning through here. Obviously, you're not going to understand anything by just looking at the first couple of pages, which are maps, and then onto some pages listing data. And there are 3 pages of data. And then you come to the first page of questions, okay? And then you have some more data, and then you have the second page of questions. These are economic data questions. These are U.S. population data questions, okay? What you're going to turn into me are the 2 pages of questions, okay? All of the other materials in this packet are the resources that you need to use to answer the questions. Now, the first question talks about, there's a few questions here actually that talk about entering some information from the data onto the maps. Because I can't assume that everyone has a printer and can print these things out, I've gone ahead and done that for you. So I've entered all the information. Anything it's asked you to mark on these pages where there are maps or data, I've done that for you already. So you just need to use all of that information to answer the rest of the questions, okay? Once you've completed, and it's pretty straightforward if you follow, just follow your way through the question sheets, okay? There's very clear instructions in there. Once you finish these 2 pages, okay, this is what you're going to submit to me. Now, super important right here, okay? I do not want 2 separate files sent to me to turn this in, okay? So what I'm gonna request that you do, there's several programs or applications for your phone that do this, but if you're using your phone to snap pictures of this stuff, actually, I guess for you guys, what you're gonna need to do is answer these on a separate sheet of paper, okay? You can either write it out, preferably type it out in a Word document and attach that Word document to Canvas to turn it in. So forget about taking pictures of these unless you print them out. If you want to print them out and fill in the answers and take a picture, that's great. But let me just talk about that for a second, because there are going to be some things that you're going to need to submit to me by taking a picture of, okay? And when that is the case, particularly when there's more than 1 page, I do not want multiple files. So there's an application called Microsoft Lens, okay? And an application for Microsoft OneDrive, which is the drive that stores all of your information when you're logged in to the school network, okay? It's Microsoft Word, it's attached to Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint, all the Microsoft products, okay? So I recommend that you download the OneDrive app. The OneDrive app at the bottom of the screen has a button to take a picture of your documents and save them straight into OneDrive. You should save them as PDF files, okay? When you take the picture of the first document, okay, it's going to ask you, do you want to add more documents? So you can add multiple pages to the very same file. Does that hopefully that makes sense to you, okay? Rather than taking 2 separate pictures, just image files, and sending in 2 different files to me. I don't want that, because that's just going to create too much confusion on my end, okay? So application for your phone, Microsoft OneDrive, and that has a Microsoft Lens camera integrated in it. It's the round button at the bottom of the screen on that app, okay? So give that a try when you need to turn some stuff into me, particularly when it's more than one page, okay? I think that's about it. I want to keep this under 10 minutes, and we're right at about 9 minutes right now. So if you have any questions about any of this stuff, don't hesitate to message me. And if you watch this in time to pop into the open Zoom meeting today, I hope to see you there. Have a great weekend. It's a long Labor Day weekend, so I hope you guys all enjoy it, and we'll see you again next week. All right.